A very good morning to the respected Vijaya ma'am, Urvi ma'am, and one and all present here. Her Highness Sheikh Hamoza has played an active role in spearheading social and educational reforms in Qatar and around the world for the past 2 decades. Her Highness has worked with United Nations to support global education and other key areas of development for marginalized children and youth through her role as Sustainable Development Goals advocate. Today, I am going to declaim one of her keynote speech at the Social Forum for Human Rights Council 2019. So here I go. Thank you. I'm delighted to be here this morning. The film we saw just now tells the story of children living in dire circumstances and see hope as a light to guide them towards better future. We also saw Tabrak. Tabrak is a young 6-year-old girl living in war-torn Mosul in western Iraq. We see her sitting in an abandoned classroom, 1 out of 130 schools destroyed. Nevertheless, Tabrak and her sister Maryam will walk for hours every day to go to their school. Why would they take this arduous journey? Because Tabrak and her family know the importance of education, the power of education. Education opens possibilities and opportunities. As we speak now, tens of millions of young people are deprived of the opportunity to acquire knowledge to start their lives. Trapped in a cycle of violence and misery, robbed of a better future, trauma has become a part of their DNA. I struggle when I sit with them to hold on to my optimism. When I took this endeavor, I knew it was going to be hard work, but believe me, my friends, nothing could have prepared me to realize the harsh reality of these young people. I experienced disappointment, frustration, even lost trust in our unjust global system, but I have no choice. We have no choice but to continue to support education for young children like Tabrak and her sister. Prolonged armed conflict has led to irreversible destruction of education, and let me be clear, I do not mean collateral damage. I mean deliberate attacks on education, deliberate attacks on basic human rights. During the past 5 years alone, we saw 14,000 attacks in 30 different countries, and our MENA areas has been hard hit. It will take decades to rebuild Yemen, Syria, and Iraq, except for education which has been lost will be impossible to restore. And when there is no education, there will be no nation. If we do not turn the tide, we'll continue to pay the high price. People think that conflicts come and go. But we know now for a fact that when conflicts come, they come to stay, and they stay for long. We are past the monitoring stages. We have international crisis on our hand, and lack of education can escalate into enormous frustration among young people. And we all have a role to play, individually and collectively. We know from our experiences that there is no one solution to every problem. We know that different countries have different problems and different dynamics that need to be addressed in different ways. We need to be selective and eclectic, and always innovative and creative. And the best way to get started is to look around the room. Every one of you has the power to enact positive changes in your own countries. Let us harness all of our strength and ensure that every child gets the opportunity to attend school and get quality education. It can be done. This may sound naive, but I heard this before when I promised to educate 10 million children, and by the way, we have done it in 6 years. It's possible, but we need to ensure stability and continuity of education. Therefore, we need to build new, stronger mechanisms for punishing those who attack education and for the violation of global system that binds us all. Governments need to form new binding agreements for protecting education, but these will work only if everyone signs and ratifies. Civil society, NGOs, individuals need to be at the center of our work to achieve effective change locally. We need to bring people from different backgrounds to listen and learn from each other, because they are the people closest to the issue and they are the people who know better. A few days ago, at the SDG advocacy meeting, I proposed creating an annual international day for protecting education, to realize how far we have come and how much we need to do, and keep the protection of education on the top of public agenda. It is the perfect time to bring the international community together and galvanize their interests and send a strong message to the perpetrators of violence and their enablers. Attacks on education will no longer be tolerated. We cannot and should not lose sight of the bigger picture, our greatest human resources, our young minds. Thank you.